Welcome to Behind the Berry, sponsored by Modexis, where you'll get to know the brand behind these world-class, innovative supplements formulated by science with you in mind. You'll meet our people, the founders of Modexis and members of our Product Research Council. You'll also hear about our amazing products through stories from our customers of overcoming health challenges. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. Modexis is the leader in bringing you the world's first family of innovative natural nutrition, powered by the elite superfruit, Lonicera cerulean. Our products are non-GMO, gluten-free, and made right here in the USA with no preservatives. They're 100% natural, so you can feel good about taking them and sharing them with your family. And learn just how easy it is to become an affiliate with Modexis and gain financial prosperity just by sharing Modexis with the people you love. Now let's jump into this week's episode of Behind the Berry. Hey guys, it's Brittney Jones. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Berry. Today I have with me my friend and fellow research council member, Dr. Alan Ogden. Hello, sir. How are you?
Fabulous. It's great to see you, Brittney. It's always a pleasure.
Good to see you. Yes. Well, we are on a roll today. We are talking about all things Modexis, and now we wanted to jump into a conversation about our women's product, Rhythm. For those of you that don't know, Modexis came out with this product within the last year, I want to say, and I've been taking it since day one. I absolutely love it. It has been a game changer personally for me. I'll share that real quick, and then we'll let Dr. Ogden take the floor, but I've had things like adult acne, hormonal imbalances, which were causing night sweats and things of that nature for literally years. And, these were things that I just thought were normal. I thought this is like what happens when you turn 40, that this is what your body just does. And I've been so pleased in finding this product because it's completely reversed both of those things for me. And I know that it's helped so many other women in other areas as well. So Dr. Ogden is going to share with us a little bit about the science and the ingredients and things behind Rhythm. So take it away, Dr. Allen.
Well, thank you so much. And this really is, well, it's near and dear to my heart, not because I'm a guy, but because in my practice, hormone replacement therapy for women is such a challenge. It really is it's a difficult thing to do. And I've had lots of conversations. I've served on lots of, teams working on hormone replacement therapy for women. We've got lots of studies. Canada is where actually Premarin came from. The original sort of estrogen replacement therapy came from here. Black cohosh was researched in Canada. Primrose oil was researched in Canada. There's been a lot of work done here because it's such a big challenge. I mean this in a good way. Men are simpler in the fact that we literally have, testosterone. We have to deal with that. Now, men also have estrogen, and one of the things that we did with Cadence was we made sure that we have products that keep your estrogen out of a man and keep it as testosterone rather than keeping it as estrogen. But what we see in women, and nobody, like you say, where does this acne come from? Where do these things all come from? And different ages, right? Like you can have a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old and you wouldn't expect their hormones to be out of balance, but yet they are.
Yeah.
And then as women get older, and we're seeing more and more women having hysterectomies at younger ages because things are just so out of whack, and the medical response to that is, it's got to be surgery, drugs, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And they would never look at, could we somehow balance this all off? So one of the great things about Dr. Rouse and his practice over the years, and I think in my practice over the years, is that, we kind of favored women in a sense. Most of our clients are women. Somebody said to me one time, well, what do you know? You're not a woman. What do you know about women? 85% of my patients were female. That's just the way it is. Everybody knows it's like pulling teeth to get a guy to go to a doctor, first off, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And yeah, so you have that challenge to get them there first. But we don't have that. Women are much more nurturing. They're worried about themselves. They want to take care of themselves. They want to look and feel younger. They have kids to take care of. They have responsibilities and so on, and they take it more seriously. So 85% of my client, 4,400 patients were women. And so been through the gamut of, people 15, 16 years old going through challenges and them talking about doing surgery on a 15 or 16-year-old. And I would just be like freaking out. No, there has to be something else. And so that's why I'm so excited that Rhythm has come along. And I want to tell the ladies, if you've had a hysterectomy, if you are on HRT, whether it's pills, whether it's creams, whatever, you can still take Rhythm. And Rhythm may help you reduce the amount you need. It will also help reduce some of the side effects, because there's still, the challenge with hormone replacement therapy in women is, yes, you get your estrogen, you get your progesterone under control, maybe you're sleeping better, but then there's breast soreness, there's backaches, there's all sorts of other things that show up, and there's never really been a great answer to that. And so that's what Rhythm, when we put Rhythm together, the idea was, can we look at all these? Is there a way to put a product together that would actually get at all these sort of I'm going to say this, balance the hormones in such a way that these other things would disappear. And that's exactly what Rhythm has done. So, Donna, my wife, she's been on HRT for a long time. She had to have surgery years ago. She had a big, huge 9-pound growth removed. And so, she's been on HRT for years, and we've gone through the challenges of that. And when Rhythm came along, all of her residual uncomfortable things went away. It was just like magic. It was just so. And one of the things we did is we went back to her doctor and said, look, this is what we're doing. We have a really great female doctor that she goes to, and she's like, wow. And so she started using it for herself. And I've seen that happen with pretty much every practitioner that's seen this product, because there isn't another product that does what Rhythm does. Wow. It takes a combination of things like EC3, all these different things, IC3 and all indole 3-carbinol, all these things. They try to, sometimes they're taking like 5 or 6 supplements to try and contain all the side effects of hormone replacement therapy. And now they can just take Rhythm. Rhythm will take. You shouldn't have to take indole 3-carbinol. You shouldn't have to take anything else. Rhythm actually has enough of the black cohosh, enough of the primrose oil, enough of these ingredients that it has. At least in my experience, it's eliminated almost all the sort of unwanted effects of hormone replacement therapy. It's also helped reduce the amount of hormone replacement therapy needed. And then one of the things, if you're, I'm a normal lady, I've gone through menopause, etc. And there's this idea that once you're past menopause, you're kind of done with hormones. Sorry, you are not done. You are not done. You're not done. So, people, they're always surprised. They go, hey, I went through menopause, in my 50s and whatever. Now I'm in my 60s. I'm having, like you say, I'm having night sweats. I've got acne. I've never had acne before. I've got skin challenges. Yes, that's because you still have activity, and it's incongruent activity now in your ovaries and places that are making your hormones. You have incongruent activity. And here's another thing I want to say, and I wanted to bring this up for everybody to understand. One of the biggest mistakes, so we talked about Probio, we've talked about Cadence, we're talking about Rhythm. One of the biggest mistakes we ever made is removing fat from our diet and not understanding the necessity of saturated fat in our diet. People are scared of saturated fat, and yet that saturated fat is a trigger mechanism for telling us that we're satiated and to tell us to stop eating. Saturated fat has many, many functions in the body. And as soon as we eliminated saturated fat from the diet, and there's many, many people that are still scared of saturated fat. And that's one thing I'd like them to get over. You need fat in your diet. Yes, you need good fats, but you need some saturated fat in your diet as well. which will also help you get rid of many of the problems that you experience because you're not able to make hormones because you don't have the fat, you don't have the cholesterol to make the hormones. And so I think what we're going to see here in the future is when we have probio balance, longevity, and rhythm together, it's going to be magic for people. When we have longevity, cadence, and probio balance, it's going to be magic for the men. These were individual products designed before we knew probio balance was going to be available to us, and they do a great job. They all do a great job. And like I tell everybody, I always start with glutathione. And the other thing, I don't know that people know this, but Lana Sarahberry, most of the research done on Lana Sarahberry was done by Dalhousie University here in Canada. They got a special grant because Lana Sarahberry is native to Canada. They got a special grant from a fund in Canada to do the research. They've had symposiums in Canada on Lana Sarahberry.
Wow.
It's very, very well researched for its polyphenol activity in cardiovascular disease, in cancer, in all sorts of diseases, and how it can have a positive effect. Now, which doesn't cure anything, but it does have a positive effect in any one of these. And of course, it's in all three of our, it's in cadence and rhythm. It's not in probio balance. We use the ashwagandha. It's the only thing that would work in there. Lana Sarahberry was actually would have not allowed the probiotics to do their job because it's such a good antioxidant, such a good polyphenol. So you have to keep those things in mind. But it is in rhythm and it is in cadence, and those polyphenols, those things that are in Lana Sarahberry, that all contribute to the I'm going to say smoothing out the nervous system, smoothing out the signaling system in all of our hormonal balancing that we do in our body every day. And if you think about going through a day and how many mood swings, and if I can call them that, how many things are challenged where your mood has to change? You have to fill this role, then you have to fill this role, then you have to fill this role.
Yeah.
So your hormones are always behind. Like they're always catching up to you. They're always catching up to life.
Yeah. They're going to ask, how many mood swings a day do you have, Brittney? But I will say, I think moving out is a great way to say it, because I don't feel when I take it, it doesn't necessarily like boost me or bring me down. Like, I think sometimes when people think of, regulating hormones, they think of like almost like a mellowing, or like a, something that is maybe negative. And I don't necessarily feel that at all, but I definitely feel more, I just use the words even keeled. I feel way more even keeled. Like I can take on whatever that day brings me.
Yeah. So like cadence, rhythm, right? We've made it so that it helps your adrenal glands. It helps with the balancing of your estrogen, making sure you're getting usable estrogen instead of it all becoming unusable, and that building up in your body and causing all sorts of problems. Like that's one of the reasons for acne, hair loss, etc., is that you have estrogen your body can't use accumulating. So we help your body keep estrogen, usable estrogen levels, and that's I would say that's for cadence and rhythm. It's not this big sort of wow boost thing,
Right.
or like that. It's, oh wow, I just, what, I can take on life. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm much calmer. I'm much more able to just handle life. And that's really what the products do, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I've really enjoyed it. I know I have girlfriends that are on it now that, their feedback has been everything from, like, we have a girl in our group that got pregnant after being on it for a while, because it just regulated so much of her system and, some of the conditions and symptoms she was seeing. I mean, everything from that to what might seem kind of silly, like acne. But I will say, for a woman, those are things that matter. Those are things that,
Absolutely.
we that we care about. And so to be able to take on, like you said, wear all those hats and take on all those challenges more effectively, maybe more calmly, if you will. I think that
it's really one of those things that I take it for me, but I also take it for my family, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a
Yeah.
more fun mom. I'm a more like cool wife
Yeah.
to be around because I'm regulated in that way.
Yeah. And that's right. And so while we wouldn't give cadence to a young man, there are instances where with if a young girl is working with their doctor because they're having really severe cramping, they're having really severe difficulty with their cycle. um, I would say they need to consult a physician, but this is something that, as far as we know, would help regulate that somewhat. Because if you understand what's going on of a difficult cycle, you're getting a real thrust in estrogen and then a real sudden drop. And that it's the sudden drop in estrogen that causes all of the muscle cramping and all the pain and all the, right? Because your body just all of a sudden it just does this. Like
Hmm.
if you think of, all the organs of a lady, like starting underneath her ribs here with your ovaries and down, that all just cramps down. Because all of a sudden it's cycling, it's getting rid of everything. And so it does help even that out. So it has been used in younger ladies as well that are having real difficult challenges with their cycle.
Hmm.
And I'd rather see them use that than birth control pills, which is what the medical system recommends, right? Put them on a
Yeah.
birth control at 15, 16. No, I would much rather than try rhythm first.
Yeah. And not to go super deep down that rabbit trail, but there are side effects just like with any medicine that you take to taking birth control, especially at a young age or for a long period of time. I think right now we're seeing a lot of women deal with infertility because they've been on essentially, they've been on these for 10, 20 years. Now they're trying to have families and it's become a challenge. And so while that's not everyone's story, like you said, try something natural first. That's kind of the way I was raised. And I know so many of my friends kind of live that way too. But I think um at least for me, my mentality is like, what's the harm, right? We know that Modexis is a whole brand of do no harm products, that they're not going to hurt you, they're going to help you. And if that's a scenario that young girls or moms who are raising young girls find themselves in, like, rhythm is a great place to start versus some of these other
Yeah,
more intrusive, if
yeah,
you will,
intrusive.
products.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I've practiced a long, long time. Um, yeah, it seems like a really long time, honestly, some days. But I I can honestly say I've never had anybody in ER from a natural health product. Now, it's not to say it doesn't happen, right?
Hmm.
But I don't. That's so rare. It's so rare. It's somebody who's just really done something crazy, or they've taken. Well, I remember when Trib first came out, or some of Tongadali, and some of these things that men were trying to use, and they would take 2,000 milligrams. They'd take some big, huge dose, and their heart rate would go crazy and whatever, and that would happen. But overall, when you take like what we've made, there's never anybody. But like you say, when you get on a drug, we have many people that end up back in care, back at the doctor. What can we do? Now we've got this going on. What do we do about that? So, yes, let's try to encourage. So my philosophy and Dr. Rouse's philosophy is, can we help nature do what it wants to do?
Mm.
Right? So first of all, can we help nature do what it wants to do? And if we can't do that, then yes, we may have to use a drug. If we can't, if a body is in a situation where no, it's just failed in that regard, then okay, that's the proper use of medicine. But
Yeah.
let's give the body a chance first, and that's what all these products are about: it's giving the body a chance first, and then we can treat otherwise.
I love that. That is rules to live by in my house for sure. So, well, thank you, Dr. Ogden, for your time, for your insight, for all your wisdom in these products. I so appreciate it. And I know that our listeners have too. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to the Modexis YouTube channel. We would love to have you check out every single video on here. I know there's a lot, but find those products that you're curious about and take a few minutes to learn more about them, and then go over to modexis.com. There's plenty more information there for you if you are a research nut and you like to go down these rabbit trails and learn more. And of course, you can grab your products there as well. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Behind the Berry.
Hey guys, it's Brittney. Make sure to go visit modexis.com. That's MODEXUS.com to connect with an advocate for Modexis in your area. I'd also love it if you would like and subscribe to this channel as well as the Modexis channel. And be sure to hit the little notification bell so you know every time we post something new.